Okay, it started. All right. So, what day were you born?
August 23rd, 26, 1926.
1926. And did your parents tell you anything about the day you were born?
I don't remember them telling me.
No. Where were you born?
I don't know. I think it was born in Brecon.
Where? At home?
I guess so. They said Dr. Ross was the doctor, but I don't think I was in a hospital.
Oh. Why were you given your name? Do you know why?
Why was I? It was an aunt. I was called after an aunt, Blanche. I don't know who she was.
You never met her?
No.
Oh. What was your first memory that you can remember?
Of myself?
Yeah.
Of going to the school and saying that recitation when I was about 4. They call me Little Chatterbox. My name is Blanche Marie. And the reason why I talk so much, I have so much to say.
Wow. So you grew up in Brecon?
As far as I know.
Was there lots of houses around?
I was out on a farm. I was out on Grandpa's farm, and I was out on my dad's farm. And I was out on a farm out in Elton Station, Argyle. Didn't stay. We wasn't long there, either one of those places.
Oh.
My dad lost every farm he got.
So what can you tell me about your parents, your mom and your dad?
Well, I guess they were very nice people. Well, Dad had a terrible temper. I know that. Is it okay to say that?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
He had a horrible temper.
Well, where were they born?
I think they were born in Brecon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
How did they meet?
I don't know that.
No?
No, I don't know that.
What is like your favorite memory of either of them?
You pick good questions. See, your mom died when I was only 8 years old, so I don't have too many memories of her.
No? Can you remember anything?
I can remember the day she went to give me a licking and she ran across the culvert, and I said, "You can't catch me," and I jumped over the fence. And I felt so bad about running away from her after she died, because it wasn't long after that. I was bad.
Who was more strict, your mom or your dad?
Dad.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Can you remember a time that was the worst that you got in trouble for?
Oh my gosh, woman. I got a licking 3 times a day for some things I did. He was horrible.
Like what?
Well, he had a razor strap with 3 blades on it. And if you broke a bowl, I remember when I broke a bowl, and he gave me a licking with that strap 3 times the same day for the same thing. Well, I might as well tell you, after Dad died, I found I don't think anybody will want to hear this, but that Dad had been, what do you call it? He'd been in it was an asylum, Mimico Asylum, for the crazy people, for the insane. He'd been in there. He was crazy.
Wow.
And that's what we had looking after us.
Wow, that's crazy.
He was pretty bad. Every time anybody got a licking, the rest of us all cried. And when any kid got a licking, the other kids all cried. So they didn't like to see the other child getting a licking.
Wow.
It was horrible. One day I come home from school. I carried Myrtle across the field, my youngest sister, because she didn't have any shoes to wear, and we took a shortcut. And he come out and he grabbed me with the fork. He took the fork to me, the pitchfork, and he beat me with that fork because I was late getting home for get supper ready. He didn't know what he was doing, and he just finished pounding the horses because they couldn't pull the load of manure, and he just pounded them. And that's all he knew was to pound. He was a terrible man.
Wow. How did he earn money?
You know, he lost the farm we were in, and he had to move back to the house where the chicken house was. It was a chicken house, and they had the Dawson brothers. They had to clean that house all up and whitewash it and everything. It was terrible. My poor mom near died when she had to move from that big house into that one. And then my uncle left us a house out in Eldon Station, out in Argyle, and he lost it.
Oh my gosh.
He was no good at all for farming or anything. I didn't know how bad that he was hated until this guy from Brecon told me what they used to call him.
What?
I had no idea. Well, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't a nice name because he was no good. Just I didn't want everybody to know my dad was no good. So
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna just take a quick second. I'm gonna put a recorder beside you just in case this isn't grabbing your voice. Okay. How many brothers and sisters do you have, or did you have?
3 boys and 3 girls, 3 brothers and 3 sisters.
What were their names?
Alec and Archie and Bill,
Hmm. And the girls?
and well, Blanche was my name, and Linda Myrtle.
Wow. And who was your favorite?
Linda, I guess, if it was a favorite.
What was your favorite thing that you can remember doing with them?
Skating on the ice at school. I wore my brother's skate. I wore my shoes inside my brother's skates. That's the only way I could get a pair that would fit me.
Oh wow.
We used to go to school early and jump over the fence, and it was Harrington, Roddy Harrigan's ranch. That's where it was, right
Wow.
beside our school. Mike Harrington, sorry. Yeah, that's who it was, Mike Harrington's.
Are any of them still around?
No.
No, none of your sisters or brothers?
Well, I have Linda's still living,
Yeah.
but I don't know what kind of shape she's in. I don't think it's very good.
Oh. Did you have any pets?
I wasn't good with pets. I didn't like pets. I don't know why I didn't like animals, but anyhow, I didn't.
No. What were you like as a child?
Oh, cute.
Well, what was your favorite thing to do?
Should have given me a chance to think this over so I'd know what to say. Uh, well, we like playing games, Ring Around a Rosie, and Three Blind Mice, and Old Mother Dido's Dead, and all different kinds of games. We did play a lot of games.
What was your favorite food when you were a kid?
Potatoes. It still is.
Um, what did you wear? What kind of clothes?
Skirts and sweaters. I think that's what we wore, and long black stockings. Oh, so pretty. Ugly.
Did you ever get an allowance?
I never remember getting it. I remember when we're going to the fair, the Beaverton Fair one year, and Dad gave the three girls a dime apiece, and the boys, they said they didn't need any money to get in because they just jumped over the fence. Yeah,
What kind of school did you go to?
public school.
And that's when there was only like everyone in the same class,
There was
right?
about 30 pupils in a room. Yeah, 30, like boys and girls mixed.
Okay. And were you a good student?
Everything but arithmetic. I was good in spelling, but I was no good in arithmetic. Never was.
Did you have lots of friends?
Oh yes,
Can you remember any of their names?
yes. I know all kinds of them. I got a whole bunch of them. I got their pictures.
Oh, really?
Yeah, do you want them? Or
Yeah, I'll grab them later.
okay.
Where did your family ever go on vacations?
No,
Did you ever leave Brecken very often?
no. We just moved out to Eldon that time, that Eldon Station. Argyle called it today. We moved out there and then moved back, and Grandma had us a lot of the time. We
Mhm.
walked 5 miles to school, and before we left, we had to peel the potatoes for dinner and wash the dirty old separator. I don't know whether you know what a separator is or not. Well, it's what you put the milk through, what you get the cream out of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And one morning, I peeled the potatoes so thick, my grandfather made me peel the peelings. It was terrible. And one night I couldn't eat my bread and milk, and he put it in the pantry for me for breakfast. And it was just thick, just sour. And I had to eat it or go hungry.
Wow.
But
So what was your grandma like?
he was a drunk. She, she used to have a bottle every day. She had a bottle, and she was always sick unless there was a trip, like Grandpa was going to Lindsay or something, and she'd be fine then because she'd want to go for a ride. I never liked my grandmother. I don't know why. I just didn't like her.
Were you close with your grandpa at all?
Not really. No, he was too tight. No, I wasn't that close with my. I liked my mother, but not my dad.
Um, how did you guys celebrate holidays like Christmas?
Well, one year we didn't have any at all. Dad had another family move in there. There was 13 of us in that little house, and he got presents for all their kids, and he never got any presents for us at all. And I remember we didn't think we are going to have anything for Christmas, and we were hungry this year. And the Lions Club come in from Brecken, and they had a cooked turkey. I can remember us eating that turkey. It was cooked. We ate it without any, just ate it. We were so hungry.
Wow.
Yeah, it was horrible.
He wasn't giving you guys food?
We didn't have enough food. No, and we had the two families there to feed, and we fought. Oh God, I hated them because they had no business being there.
So was it his girlfriend's family?
Yeah, and we come home from school one night, and Dad says, "Don't make too much noise because Mrs. Hill is sick, and she just had a baby, and he delivered it. Her name was Ethel. She's my half sister. I never see her. But when she found out that she belonged to my dad, she had a nervous breakdown and had to go to a home or something. But it was terrible.
So she didn't know?
She didn't know that he was her father. She thought she was a Hill, the same as the rest of the family.
Hmm.
But it was,
And you guys were never close?
no, dad says, "No, you've got to call Mrs. Hill mother." I says, "She's not my mother, and I'll never call her mother." So he locked me down in the hole, down had this hole in the floor. It's a trap door, and there's rats down there. And he locked me down there. Well, sir, I lifted that door and pushed it. He put a chair on it, and I still lifted it. That's how strong I was. And I got out of there and ran outside, and he got me and gave me another licking. Oh, it was horrible life. And nobody knows what we went through.
Wow. That's definitely different than now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Cook. I did. I just wanted to bake. I just loved baking. And I wanted to be an actor. I loved acting. Yeah, I loved dancing. I loved anything to do with the music or any kind of talent.
Who was your favorite artist?
I couldn't tell you.
No?
No.
What kind of music was it?
Oh, just old time music.
Do you like what was a big world event that happened when you were growing up?
We went to see the Queen in the stock truck. They had animals in it, and they cleaned it up and put chairs in it, and they took us down to the bridge at Cambridge there, and down to on the canal to see the Queen. And that was the highlight of our.
Wow, and you actually saw her?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
Queen Elizabeth.
And where was that?
It's right down along Cambridge, down along down the highway there. There's a mock right at Cambridge, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is different about growing up today for kids than when you were growing up?
Well, they're not made mind at all. Not just referring to your kids, it's everybody's. They don't mind, and they don't have any rules. Well, the parents don't have any rules either. The parents don't look after the kids like they used to. That's all you did was look after your kids. But not now. They have to work to live. Oh, we sure didn't live good then, I'll tell you.
Do you think it's better now or worse?
Oh, worse.
Yeah.
Far worse. Yeah. Because when you can see your times yourself, that every day there's people getting killed on and taking drugs, and it's not good. And people are killing their own kids. Like, it's horrible.
Yeah, it is. So when you were a teenager, what kind of things did you do for fun? Like, did you have a favorite spot to hang out at?
We used to go to dances at Friday nights. I remember I wouldn't want to get out of the car, and Roy says, "You're just as good as anybody else," and I was shy, but anyway, he got me getting out, and I really loved dancing once I got started. Roy was a good dancer too.
So you guys danced together?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when did you meet Grandpa?
When I was about 17. Yeah.
And did you?
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't what I was asking. But did you fall in love with him pretty quickly?
Oh yeah, I did. But he never told me he loved me until I was about 50. I think it was after we was married 50 years. I think he told me, and then he wouldn't stop. After he had that stroke, he wouldn't stop, and I didn't like him at all. I was so mad at him. It was just okay, whatever.
What made you mad about it though? Just because he was different?
Yeah, he was supposed to take me on my honeymoon, and we got as far as Aunt Linda's, my sister's, and we stayed all night there. And then in the morning he said no, we'd go home. And that's as far as he went.
Where were you supposed to go for your honeymoon?
we were supposed to go someplace on a trip. He told me we'd pick it out when we got there. You can pick out a darn thing. Oh, he was a devil.
Well, what was your favorite memory of you guys together? Like, did you ever go on a fun date or anything?
We went out east, down east, to where, what's that little girl with an E, Ann Gables. We went down there and we stayed for a few days down there, and it was quite exciting. I liked that. I remember bringing the colored sand home.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So what was your first job? You had a job, right?
I went to down the lake shore to clean cottages. Aunt Margaret and I, Roy's brother's wife,
Mm-hmm.
we went down there to clean cottages. I think we got about $5. And when I got home, Clara was there to borrow it. He never paid it back. He was there every week. No use of me working because I just gave the money to Claire. Crazy, crazy.
Did you like the job?
Yeah, it was okay. They give us our meal, and there was boys that worked there, and they wouldn't let them have any milk. They wouldn't let them have any pop. And when we were working, we couldn't keep the pop bottles. We had to give them to Tom Dawson. That was the name of the guy that we worked for. I remember working there.
Wow.
And then after I was married, I liked when I baked, and I painted up the truck and put all the pies and stuff in them.
And you sold them?
Oh yes, I made a lot of money. Yeah, I did a lot of work though. But 3 times I went to the fair, I went to the hospital.
Wow.
Because I worked till I couldn't work any hard longer.
Well, at least you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you got engaged to Grandpa?
I was 16.
And how did he propose to you?
I do not know. Because he wasn't very loving man, I'll tell you. He just loved what he got.
So at that time, did you already have a child?
Oh, I had Harry 3 months before I was married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did.
So when did you get married?
1943
Where was it?
in Beaverton in the manse.
Wow. What was it like?
Oh, it was just just an office and just the manse. A nice house. That's all it was.
Did you have much people there?
No, we had Edward and Lila, Roy's brother and sister. They stood up for us, and we went home and had fried potatoes and eggs for supper. That's what we had for our supper.
What was the first big purchase you made with Grandpa?
We bought a love seat at a sale at Udney. We had it for a long time. It was really a nice one. Yeah, that was the first thing. And then we bought a stove. Anyhow,
The same one that was at the house?
no,
No.
no, it was pretty well gone. We had a brand new one when we sold.
And how many kids did you have, Grandma?
I had altogether.
Yeah.
11.
So did you name any of them for a reason? Like, was there any meaning behind any of their names?
When I named, they said, "What are you gonna call the baby?" And I said, "Harry." Harry, the great musician, or something. Harry James, the great musician. Yeah, I remember that call. Yeah. Oh, he was some baby. He was a good kid, but oh God, he was bad.
Really? What's your favorite story about any of your kids?
Donna. I had to turn every chair in the house upside down because when she was about 3, she just climbed up onto the table and on. You couldn't keep her off anything. She just climbed up on everything, and she wouldn't let you wash her hair. She would just scream. And I used to have to lay her up on the counter over the kitchen sink, lay her head back and wash her. I tried to drown her one day in the toilet. Oh, she was bad.
What about Aunt Laura? What was your favorite story about her?
Oh, she was a goody goody. We went to a childhood reunion in Beaverton. I don't know what year it was. I could if I got the picture. I have it. And we had 30 some kids, like all the grandkids. And Laura was 9 months old that day. And she went to me, and she wanted to go to the toilet. She was completely trained. She was in train pants.
Wow.
She's the smartest kid I ever seen. But she was a terrible baby because she had colic. Carried her 4 months on my hip.
Wow. What about Aunt Sharon?
Sharon, she was a good kid. Smart in school, really smart. And to this day, Sharon came in here the other morning and she said, I was just upstairs seeing Barb. Barb, girl, what's her name? Roy. Anyhow, your mother or Laura worked with her at Oak Terrace, not Oak Terrace, Trillium, where Laura worked. Barb Layton and Barb, or Sharon told me she was up to see her, and then at supper time, Barb said, "Oh, she says, I saw your daughter Sharon. Oh, she says she's a wonderful person, and her husband says she's just a breath of fresh air." And she says, and so was Laura. She was a sweetheart. So no, our kids were well liked.
Yeah. Do you have a memory about Aunt Elma?
After she got married to Donnie, they fought. Oh God, they fought something terrible. And they were living in Beaverton, and they were out at our place. They'll be here and listen to all this, won't they?
No, don't worry. You're good.
And and she says, Donnie, I want to go home. And he never listened to her. He just kept right on reading that book. And she just grabbed that book out of his hand and pitched it. And she went home without him. So Barb East got her. Donnie's sister had to take Donnie home. But he just shalom. Just, oh, he was aggravating.
What about my mom? Do you have a memory about her?
She's Debbie Doll. She was the sweetest little kid. Um, One day we walked, it's over 12 miles. We walked those cattle back to the ranch. But I think this was one day we're bringing them home from the ranch. And Debbie couldn't keep up with her cow. So she stayed at home. She stayed back. She had this little brown coat on with a hood on it and a little stick, chasing her cow. She was an hour or two after everybody else got home, bringing that cow in. And the next day it had twins. Oh, poor Debbie. She just loved animals. She was going through for a vet. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
She'd have made a good vet.
Okay, how about just one memory of a grandchild? that you can remember that's most?
One of my grandkids.
Yeah.
I can remember Adam because he was at our place the most. He was a proper devil. He'll hear this and he won't like it. So I better not.
No, just say it.
Oh, God. He stole our car after we went to bed, and we'd been out to town and bought 2 gallons of paint for the paint. I forget what it was. It was white paint. And anyway, whatever he hit over at the bridge, he upset the paint. The lids come off of it and just messed the whole car, the smell of it. And the next morning, Harry and Joan come. It was Mother's Day. And we were taking them out for a ride in our new car. You could not stand the smell of it. It was just terrible. And Adam was up in the bed crying. He was feeling so bad for what he'd done. He would always feel bad afterwards for what he'd done. Adam. So we had to take Harry's truck. And when we went away, Adam took the paint out of the car and tried burning it. Adam.
Wow. And how many grandchildren do you have now, Grandma?
87.
87? Is that including great?
I'll tell you exactly. Yes, it is. Somebody asks me every day how many grandkids I have. 30 great-grandchildren, 50 great-grandchildren, or 30 grandchildren, 50 great-grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren. There's 87.
Wow.
So, anyhow.
So was it hard raising kids, or what was the best part of it?
I think the boys are easier to raise than girls.
For what reason?
At one point. I don't know whether it was dressing them or what, but it's all I remember is the boys were easier to raise than
What was the hardest part of raising kids?
feeding them, I think. See, we didn't have the money. We had to go on welfare at one time. And then after that, it wasn't too bad.
Wow. Did you guys ever go on family vacations with the kids?
No.
What is something embarrassing that one of your kids said at an early age that you'll never forget?
My grandkids or my kids?
Any of them.
Oh, Carl. Claire's Carl. He sang this song at Brecken. Oh, I wish I could think of it. Claire could tell you what it was. And he sang it and then he changed the words. And I thought I just about dropped him because I thought he was singing the real words and he changed them just at the end. But he scared me near to death. Oh, he was a funny kid.
What's the best thing about being a parent?
That's a good question. Well, I don't know. I love being a parent. I love kids. I still do to this day. And if I ever seen anybody beating a child like what I did at the fair one time, I lit right into that man. And I ever give him the heck for hitting that kid. I hated because I hated us getting hit.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was horrible. That was unintentional. That was no need of it.
So, your one child, what's his name that passed?
Carl.
Do you have any memories of him?
Many. He drank too much. He used to steal the car all the time and take it back to Sedoa. And I thought that he was going to kill somebody because he was so drunk all the time. And it's an awful thing to say, but when he died, I didn't feel as bad as if I would have, as if he'd have been like a good child, because he was anything but good, because he get into the drink. It was the drink that killed him,
Yeah.
killed us all.
Did any of the kids have closer relationships with each other?
Carl and Claire were very close together. And Debbie and Donna, and Sharon and Laura. I don't know who was with Alma. But anyway, on the whole, they wasn't too bad kids.
Yeah. Did you ever have any nicknames as a child or as an adult?
Me,
Yeah.
Blanche Marie. Not really. Dad had a nickname for every child, and every grandkid he had a nickname for them.
How are your children like you?
Mostly.
Do you think any one of them is most like you?
Well, in the grandkids, I think Caitlin's like me. I think, what's your daughter's name?
Jude.
Jude is like me. Very much a little show off. That's exactly what I was.
And you think Caitlin's a show off too?
In a way, yes. She drives a Mustang, you know.
Wow.
Her dad's. Yeah, she's quite the girl.
What do you think your 3 best qualities are?
Mine?
Yeah.
Cooking, writing poetry. I love writing poetry. Poems, yeah. I don't know. I think I'm a good housekeeper,
Mm-hmm.
because I always have been.
Well, that's 3. What are your 3 worst?
You would ask me that. Oh, gosh, isn't that crazy? I don't know.
You don't have any.
I don't think so.
If you could have
one. Oh, my temper.
Oh, your temper.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen you be angry.
Good.
If you could have one wish, what would it be?
That my kids would all be healthy. My kids and grandkids. Yeah.
What kind of things bring you the most pleasure now?
Children. I love my grandkids.
What kind of things scare you?
This world, the drugs, that stuff they smoke. They call it piping. What is it?
Vaping?
Vaping. I saw them doing it outside of where I had my nails done today, but it wasn't today I saw them, but I've seen them vaping. And when they had Harry's celebration of life, I couldn't believe it when Sherry's son, and Ward's son, was sitting there, uh, what do you call it, smoking dope? What is it? He does it all the time.
I don't know. Vaping or smoking dope?
Smoking dope then.
Oh.
Probably vaping now. Can't believe it.
What's the one thing you've always wanted but you still don't have?
That's a good question. I don't know. I've put everything I want.
Do you feel differently about yourself now than when you were younger?
Oh, yes.
In what way?
Well, I think I could have been a better teenager and not so saucy to my grandparents. But I was good to them, actually, but I was a little lippy with them. They deserved it.
What do you think has stayed the same about you through your whole life?
My character.
All right, we're almost done. What's your typical day like now?
Just an ordinary day.
Well, what do you do for fun now?
Play bingo. We play cards. We play crib all the time. And my powers come down in the evenings. We just watch movies.
And did you know Howard from before?
Yes, but nothing to it. It was just like him and his wife, and they come to visit.
Mm-hmm.
I had nothing for. I had no need to. I didn't need a man then. I had one.
So what things are most important to you now?
My family.
If you could go back to any age, what age would it be and why?
50. Because I was going to church then and taking the kids to church. Well, no, I don't know at that age I was going to take my kids to church or not. But it was nice when I had lined their shoes all up. I think I was only 7 at a time when they were going to Sunday school. Like some of them had left. It was about 7. But you knew when I had them all in school, and I turned on the radio and the television, and my sister, I can't stand this. We have to have more kids. And we had 3 more. Yeah, I did. I wanted more kids because it was too quiet.
Wow, you were too bored.
Yeah.
How do you feel now about growing old?
I think it's nice growing old gracefully.
What's the hardest thing about it?
Oh, your bones, your arthritis. I'm changing the subject. Look at my birds.
Yeah, I've been watching
The
them.
cardinals.
They're pretty.
I love the birds.
If you live another 20 to 30 years, what would you do?
Poor Canada. I don't know. I don't want to live that long.
That was my next question. If you wanted to live that long,
No, I don't.
what have you liked best about your life so far?
The people, my family, my neighbors. The people just love me. There's only one man in here that I don't like, and I told him what he was. That was an a-hole.
Why doesn't he like you?
Because I caught him coming out of the office. He was in there stealing something. And he tried to say he wasn't in there, that he was coming out of the bathroom. And I says, well, do you always turn around and lock the door when you come out? He says, what would I be doing in the office anyway? Where would I get a key? I says, you stole it.
What do you know now that you wish you'd known when you were young?
That's a good question. I can't think at the moment. I really don't know. I know probably everything I think I do.
Okay, this is the last question. What would you like your children and grandchildren to remember about you?
Just to remember how much I like them. I'd do anything for them, but Norman's granddaughter, I don't know her. Like she got into is this on tape?
Yeah, but you're okay. Just say it.
Oh, but she's on drugs and has been for so long. And used to buy her a present. She never thanked me for a present. And Norman asked me every time what I was getting for her. And I finally told him I wasn't getting her anything. He started to buy her the present. But how would you like it if you kept buying a present for somebody And the kids, they don't even say thank you. Why do you bother? So this time I'm not getting the, not, I think you thank me every time. You and Claire's kids were really good to thank for the presents. But lots of them, that's all. They'd grab their card and take the money, or leave the card and take their money.
Is there anything you'd want your kids to, or that you'd want to say to your kids if you weren't here?
Yeah, stay out of drugs. I don't know. Do you think you can keep your kids out of drugs?
Let's hope so. Okay, well, that's all of them. Do you want to say anything else, Grandma?
I'm so glad I have all my grandchildren, and they are good to me, like most of them are. The ones that talk. Well, now, what's her name's going to have a baby? I don't know what kind of a mother she'll be. Brooke. Yeah, she's pregnant, but Brooke has always just been happy-go-lucky and never had a worry in the world. So we'll see how she turns out. I hope it's good. And how are you feeling? Let me hear me